Ladies and gentlemen, and I don't want us to think Trump's already won. I don't want us to think we don't have to campaign hard or push hard, but the deep state, just as they did in 2016 when Trump was the nominee, and just as they did before the 2000 election, led by Senator Blumenthal and the Clintons. I've got it all right here, and Obama and George Soros. I've got Newsweek, I've got NBC, I've got CBS, I've got everything. This is just breaking. Legal experts gear up for feared military takeover by Donald Trump. Another one, and they're bringing up Flynn, by the way. NBC, fears grow that Trump will use the military in dictatorial ways if he returns to the White House. So here's the InfoWars version of it. That's obviously the real boil down.
Well, wait. And Alex, in addition to that, I would just throw another out to NBC News today, which I saw all over Twitter. A series of non-governmental organizations is joining together to prevent Trump from taking control of the military should he win. I know that's exactly
Jack, that's where I'm
the story
going.
that you've been tracking. Okay.
Absolutely. So I just wanted to up front get this out here because think of this, and I spent hours reading this, their actual document they put out. Yes, a group of NGOs funded by the Clinton Initiative, Soros, and the Obama foundations, because it took me an hour to track it back to who's funding it, led by Senator Blumenthal of Connecticut, who we know is quarterback so much of this, are now flipping the script and saying, okay, looks like Trump's going to win. And I'm not putting the cart before the horse. They are already now panicking, setting up contingency programs, knowing he's going to probably win Iowa by a historic 50%, as Roger said on my show. No one's ever won by more than 12 points. So this shows landslide proportions, total panic. And when you read this battle plan, they say, okay, looks like Trump's going to win when Black Lives Matter burns down the country and he declares the Insurrection Act, which George Herbert Walker Bush did in 1992 for the LA riots, which I think is something he should have done. I don't agree with much of what he said. We're going to basically remove him from office, and they're drafting a law with Senator Blumenthal and other Democrats that they're going to announce next week to try to preemptively remove the power of the president. And I'm not General Flynn, an expert on this, or Jack Posobiec, an expert, but I do know the law. And we elect the president, and he's a representation of us. And if there's burning buildings and things burning down in a communist uprising, much worse than we saw in 2000, then it is the power of the president to call up the National Guard. So they're trying to remove the power of the president to quell things, and they want to be able to go to a civil war and then neuter the president up front, saying he can't call out the military. So continuing here, they actually say in the NBC News article, William Cohen, the former Secretary of Defense, says that Trump wants to be a dictator. Quote, it's clear and present danger to our democracy. And they basically capitulate and believe he's going to win, and go on to say that there are any array of horrors that could result from Donald Trump's unrestricted use of Insurrection Act, Senator Blumenthal said. And they go on to say that they want Congress to remove the power of the executive. So basically a pre-impeachment, or abort him before he even, lawmakers know to be adversarial to Trump and are working on a parallel track with these NGOs. They go on to say they know Trump wants to be a dictator with no proof. And while they've done all the surveillance and censorship and persecution and indicted him, so everything they've done, they're now trying to project and invert onto President Trump, which to me the big takeaway is they're desperate. They know they're losing. And so now they're already, instead of thinking about assassinating him, God forbid, or
even if he has his window open and he's hanging out of it, he'll be on the other side of the truck.
I mean, if he's driving, we've got a good shot.
Yeah, if he's driving with the front window open.
Yeah, or if it's a convertible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking about that.
Yeah. Like if he just pulls up by
like JFK. It's like a JFK, a Lincoln.
I think it's one time what he did. No, a president. Oh.
Maybe someone, just like they told JFK, you know what you should do? You should take a convertible. It's so nice out.
Or something else. To me, this is very positive news, even though it's negative. At one level, it's positive that they're already putting their full energies. The same crew that said he was a Russian agent, the same crew that went after General Flynn, the same crew that tried to neuter him before he got in office when he was president-elect, is now admitting basically defeat and putting out the panic alarm that they're going to then have a communist-style uprising and perpetual endless civil war, and that then if the executive branch does its duty and quells the racial uprising, they admit in the documents they're planning, which they've been pre-programming, that he is then a traitor. Someone asked the former head of the Defense Intelligence Agency, the former top national security advisor, we don't have a better person. He can cover something else if he'd like, get to it later, but please, General Flynn, respond. And also, Jack Posobiec, I will now mute my mic.
Yeah, a couple of things. First, I listened a little bit to Roger's analysis, and it doesn't get any better than that. I think the big picture is by 6 November, or 6 March, which is a Wednesday, the primaries will be all but over. Trump will be the candidate for the Republican Party going forward. So we have a few weeks left. I think all these candidates after this historic victory by Trump here this week, they all need to just back out and get behind him, because really what I've been saying all along, and I've been saying it for a while, that we really have a country to save, and the only guy that's capable of doing that right now in the sort of the near term is Donald J. Trump. So I appreciate Roger's analysis, and he's spot on, and I do believe that this is going to be a historic victory, and I think over the next couple of weeks we're going to see even more of that. The egos of people like Haley and DeSantis and some of the people that are behind them are going to continue to get in the way. I think Ramaswamy did himself a big disfavor here, disservice here in the last 24, 48 hours with some of his comments, and I'll leave it at that. With what we're seeing, this is really, to me, and I said this over the last couple of days on a couple of different shows that I was on. What we've seen in the last probably 2 or 3 weeks is we've seen more and heard more from Eric Holder, Barack Obama, and Michelle Obama than we've heard in the last 3 years. So they've been out because they know that their guy is not doing the service that they need to have done, and I'm talking about Biden now, and that you're going to start to see all kinds of manipulations inside of the White House to figure out ways to get him out of the way, and they're going to get him out of the way. Believe me, there's no way in the world that they're going to allow Joe Biden to go to a convention this summer. So back to this article that came out, and this is not something that's been going on for a little while, or just in one article. These people have been contemplating this, and there's people like Mary McCord who are behind this. If you go and look at who Mary McCord is and who her husband is an individual who works directly for John Roberts at the U.S. Supreme Court. I mean, these are people that are directly behind this, and they're inside of different parts of our government. And really, to me, what this represents a form of subversion. It's subversion by government officials who are in office right now. It's also subversion by former government officials, and I don't use that word loosely when I use the word subversion. Subverting the election process, the political process, the constitutional process of our country, to subvert what they know is anything but a hands down type victory that they're already perceiving that Donald Trump is going to win in November of 2024. And I keep saying, I always will caveat this, is that that's if we have an election, because the fact that these people are thinking like this and acting like this, they are going to also come up with other scenarios and other plays, if you will, to consider how that we can get to some other place that this country will be in. And I don't mean by a duly elected president. I mean something totally different. I don't know what that is quite yet. I have played out some scenarios, and I actually was on Alex's show not too long ago, and I talked a little bit about this. But so this is clearly subversion by a group of people, some that are in government, most are out.